Streaming. We should be streaming now, my friend. I don't know if you shared the link out, but for anybody who might be joining right here at the top of the show, please like, subscribe, follow, share, do any of those free fun things for us. I'm going to mention that again after we play some music, but I'm going to throw it out there now. Yeah, Dave, how you doing tonight, friend?
Fighting a little head cold, but other than that, no complaints.
All right.
Getting we're slowly but surely working on getting the nursery ready. That's really exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah, so doing well.
July, right? I don't know why I think July. Or is it June?
July 4th.
Ooh. So is it going to be a planned thing, you think, or is it going to be we're going to wait and see? Is it like planned for the 4th? Because I know sometimes they like kind of plan it like if it's not this day, like if you're not done like due by this day, then they're just going to do like a C-section or other things to kind of maybe help it along.
So we're too far out to have that figured out yet, but I'm sure if need be, they'll come up with a plan. But we're still probably like 4 or 5 weeks out before we start developing all that.
All right, cool.
As far as I know, I mean, my first go around, so I have absolutely no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I to be honest, I can't tell you. I got no experience with it, so I'm a bad example.
As long as my two ladies are okay, we'll figure everything else out.
Right, that's all that matters. Happy and healthy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm just sharing the stream out. Once I get it shared out, I'm gonna hit the music. But yeah, a little pre-show stuff. I mean, I don't know. You get into any March Madness? I'm trying to figure out when is the brackets officially come out. Is that next weekend? I'm looking it up right now, actually. But
I think they come out on Monday.
Next Monday?
Yeah, like a week from yesterday.
Yeah. All right, cool. I haven't actually checked out any, and this is probably the first year in a long time that I'm going in pretty blind. Like I know just as much honestly as you and Joey do. Like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, I'll pay a lot more attention this week because it's tournament week, and all the conference tournaments are going to be taking place and all that. So I'll start paying a lot more attention this week. But for right now, it's not high on the priority. We'll get there. I mean, once the tournaments wrap up, you'll have a clear one seeds are. I got that all figured out. And, yeah. So. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. Like I said, I'm just, I was writing something, so I wasn't talking. Which is terrible when you're online and you're on camera and you're not talking, you're not even paying attention. It's pretty terrible. So, kind of glad I didn't share it out just yet. Anybody watching, thank you for watching and putting up with this nonsense. But yeah, no, we will be talking more basketball. I'm still trying to look into this WNBA league going on, too. I don't know if you've heard anything about it, but we kind of brought it up last week very briefly. But it's called the Unrivaled, and it's kind of like led by some pretty decent players, and it seems to be doing really well. The Lunar Owls are one of the teams in it, but yeah, no, I don't know much about it, but it seems to be almost like a pre-tournament to the season. I don't know. Have you heard anything about it?
No, I saw it. I saw it on TV the other day, so I was watching it for a few minutes, but I really had no idea is there a value to it, an impact to it? Does it do something? I really wasn't 100% clear on exactly the purpose of the league, I guess today. So, yeah, no, I'm about as lost as you are on that one, to be honest.
Right, but it seems like something that people are enjoying. And again, it seems like it's a lot of fun, but I just don't know enough about it. And yeah, that, and I know I think I heard Angel Reese's name in the news lately. Have you heard anything about her?
Yeah, she was a little misquoted. She basically said that, like, I'm hearing things that if we don't start getting paid for, we might go on strike. And they quoted her as saying that WNBA players should get paid as much as NBA players, and if they don't, that the league's going to go on strike. So she came out defending herself, saying that's not what she said. And now it's kind of a he said, she said, because there's no actual recording of what she said.
I gotcha. So it's sounds like it's a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, basically. When it's all said and done. I mean, the WNBA players are never going to make as much money as NBA players. It's just not going to happen.
No, never. I know she wants that, and it's a nice thought to have, but I think the NBA subsidizes most of the WNBA anyway, doesn't it?
It subsidizes about 80%, I believe.
Oh wow.
So
yeah, so I mean, I understand, but they need to, I feel like, grow the sport. The more you grow the sport, that's where the money will come from. It's going to come from TV deals. It's going to come from, that's how the NBA, NFL, any of these big money leagues make their money. It's on TV deals. It's on rights deals. It's on everything else. Like, you've got to start promoting that more. And once it gets to a better level where TV contracts are bigger and everything gets bigger, then yes, the contracts are going to get bigger. Right? Am I wrong about that?
No, that's exactly how it works. You generate more revenue, you get paid more. I mean, hell, even think about your 9 to 5, right?
Working
Start generating more revenue, you most tend to get a raise, make more money, so on and so forth. I mean, it's pretty much the same concept. It's definitely not rocket science, I'll say that much.
It is not rocket science. But that being said, I think we're ready to get going. Let's do this. And I'm going to hit some music, and we're going to have some fun. And yeah, that's a little pre-show for you. Now that the pre-show's over, let's get to the real fun.
Rock and roll.
It's good to be back. Yeah. Back again.
I hate not being there again, but
In the studio by myself, but joining me from home, thankfully tonight, so you don't just have to listen to me, Mr. David Hastings. How you doing?
not too bad. And honestly, not just thankful that they don't have to listen to you. Thankfully, you don't got to talk by yourself, because God knows I did that for a stretch of time, and it gets real boring real fast.
Right? So, where do you want to start tonight? We got a little bit of everything. It's kind of a mosh posh. You want to start NFL? You want to knock the NFL out? Talk some free agency?
I wouldn't mind knocking the NFL out. That would work for me.
Let's do it. Well, in NFL news this week, there is some news because there's been a bunch of signings. Free agency opened up. With that, I'm just going to run through a couple of them real quick. I'll throw them out there, and then we can get into the details, and we can discuss them back and forth. But the Jets signed Justin Fields. Daniel Jones gets signed by the Indianapolis Colts. Apparently, he's going to be in the running against AR for the starting job there. You also have the Rams telling Cooper Kupp if they can't find a trade partner, they're going to release him, which I find interesting because that pretty much tells me you're going to release him, because why would I give up anything for a guy you're going to release? It doesn't really make a ton of sense there. And again, something that didn't make a ton of sense, the Seahawks trade Geno Smith to then bring in Sam Darnold. And I don't know why we're just recycling ex-Jet quarterbacks there, but it seems like that's what they're doing. And not that Darnold didn't figure something out last year, because he did, and he played a lot better. But I just don't know if this move is going to land right for the Seahawks or for Darnold, or really for Geno either. He had something good going in Seattle. For him to get traded to the Raiders, Yeah, let's start there, actually. So, what do you think of this Sam Darnold to the Seahawks? And what do you think that this does to the Seahawks team? Because, I mean, as far as I know, I don't think they re signed DK, right? So, I mean, like, I don't understand this move. Make it make sense to me, Dave.
Well, DK got traded to the Steelers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
5-year, $150 million extension with Pittsburgh. So, I think Seattle is looking at trying to get a little younger. I think they're also trying to, after what they saw out of Darnold last year, they thought he'd been an upgrade to go from Geno to him, but a lateral move. One thing I saw that really stuck out to me was that Darnold's biggest issue
Are you moving
was how
around a
long he
lot?
took to
Is there
throw
any
the
chance
ball last year.
Are you kind of walking anywhere? Kind of coming in and
I'm
out a
walking
little
all
bit.
over the place right now.
Yeah, kind of coming in and out
I mean,
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm in the house. I'm not going more than like 5 feet, but I'm walking back and forth.
All right. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, the voice was coming like in and out.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm trying to pick things up and move them while I'm talking to you.
All right.
Trying to multitask. Like I said, I'm working on getting the nursery ready. So, got to chip away at little pieces when I can and while I can.
Dude,
But either way.
Either way.
I do think it's a lateral move for Seattle. Not like DK Metcalf, like all world wide receiver, but I don't know. I mean, who are they going to sign to replace him? Like, what are they doing there? Like, who's going to really come in and make a difference? So, I just think it's one of those things where you got like more harm than good. You know, and then you're also sending messaging to the team, right? Nobody's safe, which I mean, players know, but still, you know, quarterback, that's a rough look. So I was a little surprised by that, but they replaced him with Darnold. I don't know if that's the right move, bad move. I genuinely have no idea. But what I was saying is that I heard like Darnold had one of the fastest, one of the slowest time from snap to release. And the Seahawks gave up pressure faster than most teams in the league. I think they were number 4 from snap to pressure on their quarterback. So you go to a quarterback that has a slow release and they have an offensive line that gets the pressure quickly, it tends to lead to problems. So not really sure how well that's going to work out for them, but that's the move that they made. So I'm kind of curious to see how that all unfolds.
I think it's going to be pretty bad. I got to be honest. I don't see this move working. I know that Darnold didn't necessarily have a place that he knew that J.J. McCarthy was, you know, they spent a first-round pick on him. They're going to use him, especially coming back healthy next year. So he had to make a move somewhere. I just don't see this as the move. He really doesn't have great weapons there. And like you pointed out, I don't think he's gonna translate well to Seattle. So it'll be interesting, but at the same time, I think Seattle takes a step back with this one. And I think the Raiders pretty much stay where the Raiders are. Like, I don't think they didn't get exponentially better getting Geno Smith themselves. So I think they're about where they are. But I think this move actually set the Seahawks back a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe because they got a new coach there, right? Maybe new coach feels like he could work something out, do something with him. I don't know. But
well, you got the same coach. The new coach is in Las Vegas with the Raiders and Pete Carroll. So you put Geno Smith with Pete Carroll. I mean, he made Russell Wilson look pretty good, but they also have one hell of a defense and Marshawn Lynch running the ball. I don't see either one of those things up in Vegas anytime soon. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think that overall, though, I don't think it swings the needle for any of these teams, right? Even, you mentioned Daniel Jones going to the Colts. Like, as the Colts, like, how bad does it look if Daniel Jones beats out AR for the starting job? Right? Like that blatantly is saying, like, we made a mistake with this guy as our top 3 draft pick, and now we're rocking with a veteran that's proven he can't win in this league. So, I mean, that would be a rough look for Indianapolis if Anthony Richardson cannot beat Daniel Jones for that starting job. That's for sure.
Yeah, if he beats him out for the starting job, that's embarrassing, I think, for Richards and the organization, because they had a lot of faith in Richards, and I don't know, that would be a giant disappointment. I think he's more there for backup. I think he's more there to pick up when Richardson goes down, because he is injury prone. So I have a feeling that this is more of an insurance policy, somebody who's a little bit more experienced as a starter coming in to back him up. I think that's what you're going to end up with there. But other than that, I mean, what do you think of the Jets getting Fields? We don't have Joey here tonight, and Joey's our Jet guy, but I actually really like this. This is the guy I wanted the Giants to get. This is who I was hoping they were going to land, because I think he has a little bit of talent. I think he could have, played pretty well. I like that he's on the younger side compared to guys like the Giants are talking about with Rodgers and Russell Wilson, who are much, much older. I really like this move for the Jets. I think it could be a positive move. I still think that they could end up drafting somebody or bringing in another veteran, but at the same time, I like this move for Fields. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like the move for Fields as well. I think it's one of those safe bets is probably the best way I would say it, right?
Low risk, high reward.
Yeah. And I mean, dude was 5-2 with Pittsburgh. Now, obviously, the Jets, as far as we know, don't have the coaching that Pittsburgh has or some of the talent. But I think that, that's
Garrett Wilson's got every bit of talent for whatever receiver you want to put against him. Like, I think he's every bit as good as any receiver on Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, and I think when you look at Garrett, we got to remember Garrett Wilson and Fields were a great combo at Ohio State. So they have that. They already have a connection with each other. So, I think it's going to help Garrett Wilson and probably keep him happy as well. And Fields, we still don't know what he is. We've seen flashes of a lot of talent, and we've seen some really, really bad decision making.
I think the key is going to be not putting him in bad positions. And it's going to be, with the new coach coming in, that they need to be a run-first offense, take the pressure off of Fields in the pass game, and that should open things up later on. If they're able to run the ball well and they play good defense, they have a defensive-minded head coach now who wants to, really succeed with the Jets. I think his path to succeeding is feeding Breece Hall, feeding Allen, feeding the running backs, get that running game going, because that's what's going to open up the door, and that's what's going to open up things in the passing game. If they try to come out and be too pass heavy, people are going to gear up, and then that's where I think that you're going to see Fields make more mistakes. I would try to limit his mistakes by running the ball 60% of the time. I think I guess 60-40 split this year, and you would see Fields and Garrett Wilson probably both excel if they were able to do that, because it would just take so much more pressure off of both of them if they're worried about stacking the box because of the run game.
Yeah. I think the Jets have a formula that can win. And I think it's one that, when you look at what they did in Pittsburgh with Fields, like, you just basically try to mimic that. So I think that's what you're looking to do, and do that, you could be a competitive team. Now, I don't think this moves towards Super Bowl, worthy, but I definitely think it makes them more competitive and something that their fans can at least enjoy watching throughout the year.
I'd agree with you there, and I think that they have much more promise looking ahead than my Giants do, even though they've made a bunch of signings. The one that really sticks out to me, and it kind of hurts me, and I'm going to bring it up now, they re-signed Darius Slayton. Now, I don't have a problem with that. He's an okay receiver, fine number 2, number 3. Been with the Giant organization. They drafted him. I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is they gave him a contract that they weren't even willing to give to Saquon Barkley. Like, he got 3 years and $36 million. The Giants didn't even offer Barkley that. I'm sorry, but like that hurts. Like that stings a bit. That a year after saying Barkley isn't worth $12 million, we re-sign a wide receiver who's a number 2 or number 3 at best for the same money we could have signed Saquon for. It stings. It stings.
I mean, look, $12 million a year for a wide receiver in today's market isn't bad. But when you have that as a comparison, that is pretty.
Oh, it's bad.
There's, there is no workaround to that. There is no. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Hindsight 2020. And they thought they made the right choice, but I think everybody would agree. Most people knew at that point in time it was the right choice, and now it's pretty much blatantly opposite, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, not too much more free agency wise, but I did want to bring up one other thing, and it was the Rams coming out and just openly saying that if they can't find a trade for Cooper Kupp, they're going to release him. Why not just release the man? Like, because if I'm another team, why you'd have to convince me, Dave, why would you give up something for a guy that you know is going to be dropped in a week from now or 2 weeks from now or, in the near future? If you don't have to give something up to get him, why would you to me, this is the dumbest thing an organization could say, because why not just say we're cutting?
The only way it works is if there's a team that really covets him, that's willing to sacrifice draft capital to get him, or are they, if you don't have that, then it's basically just a bidding war to sign him, and nobody's going to get a bidding war to trade for him. So that's the only hope they have. There's a team out there that highly covets him saying, I don't want to let him hit the market, I'd rather trade for him. And I don't see that happen. You saw how he just fell out of favoritism with Matthew Stafford over the last 2 after Puka Nacua came onto the field. And, yeah, I mean, as a team, I say I'd rather wait and see if I can sign them, against other GMs and sit here and just throw draft cap at hopes that we win the trade battle.
Yeah, I don't see how in the end this works out in the Rams' favor other than just getting rid of him. And I think that's all this really is they're just pretty much making sure that Cooper Kupp knows this is the end for you here. And one way or another, your time with the Rams here is over. But I think it's going to be interesting where he ends up, because I think where I think would be a really good landing spot for him, especially late in his career like this, the Chiefs. Why not? Why not take another stab at trying to get a title? Well, you could be used there. They can find a way. Patrick Mahomes can find a way to use another weapon. So I don't know. I don't mind that move.
They basically resurrected Kareem Hunt's career out of nowhere. So why the hell not, right?
Yeah. And I mean, listen, they keep bringing guys back like Juju and who else? DeAndre Hopkins they brought in this year, and they always try with somebody. Why not Cooper Kupp this year?
I mean, it would fit their trend. I think the other thing too, right, is the writing on the wall for Cooper Kupp came yesterday when the Rams signed Devontae.
Yeah.
So where are you falling on the roster at the salary they're paying them? You're just not. It's blatantly obvious. So,
That's
if I'm
true.
him,
it is blatantly obvious.
Now let me get out there and see what's out there for me.
All right. Well, you got anything else you want to throw out free agency wise that's sticking out to you so far?
I saw an interesting numbers play that in the last 3 years, this year, Dallas has already spent 75% of what they've spent in the last 3 years combined the first 2 days. So for the Jones fans, they're being quite aggressive.
This call will be recorded.
I have no idea what just happened. Oh, I think
This call is no longer being recorded.
Sorry,
yeah, I was going to say, I definitely didn't hit anything on this end.
No, you got that record thing now on your phone. I didn't realize I hit that by accident. My bad. Anyway, but yeah, so I mean, if you add up what Dallas has spent the first 2 days of free agency over the last 3 years, they've already spent 75% of that just this year. So in their eyes, they're being aggressive. To the rest of the world, they're still being lazy and cheap. But
well, I mean, they re-signed Turpin, but other than that, I mean, I haven't seen. Did they make any other splashy moves?
Splashy? No, not one bit. Not one bit. They're shopping for bargain guys and hoping that they can get something out of it. That's literally all they're doing. They're just scooping up guys that they value from the bottom of the barrel earlier so they can avoid potentially losing them later. That's literally all they're doing. Kind of like last year, they extend Micah Parsons. I'll be at least somewhat happy.
Yeah, that's the one you got to get signed. I mean, if they don't, that'd be wild. But yeah, they got to get him signed.
Yeah, and not to mention if they sign, actually frees up more salary cap for them this year. So like, there's really no negative to do.
No, and listen, the cap keeps going up each year too, so it's not like it's going down. It's not like Jerry's got to worry about next year and how much he's spending. He's gonna have more money to spend next year.
Yeah, and speaking of Parsons, I was dying. He tweeted today when I think it was like Ian Rappaport was talking about how San Francisco is like gutting their team right now, and Parsons quoted the tweet and just wrote, "No more quarterback on contract. Welcome to the real world." I was dying.
It's true, though. Once that rookie deal is over, that's why you got to capitalize. I was talking with my brother-in-law this past weekend, and he's a big Commanders fan, and he is excited because, and we were talking, I was telling him, you got a good 3-4 year window here with Jaden Daniels because you could franchise him for a year. So really, it's like 4 years under good team control money. Like, this is your time. Like, this is why you trade for Deebo Samuels. This is why you can sign McLaurin. This is why you can make the moves and pay other guys, because that rookie deal for a quarterback, when you hit on one, is gold. Like, because if you don't have to pay that position for 4 or 5 years and you could pay other ones, you can really bring in some talent and help your roster. So, but the quarterback, once they get paid, they eat up so much of that cap. It gets a lot harder to do. So I really think that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, they have a nice 4 year window here to have a big impact in the NFC East before Daniels gets paid and they have to start cutting other guys, because he's getting paid. But yeah, it's gonna happen. Purdy's gonna get paid, and because of that, they gotta make money. So I saw Leonard Floyd, one of those people that got cut. He's already signed a contract with Atlanta. So he's going to be with the Falcons this year. But yeah, they got to make room. You got to make the money. And I still don't think Purdy deserves record-breaking money. I'll say that. If he gets anything over $50 million, I would be like floored. I don't know. What do you think?
We've had this combo. He's going to beat Dak Prescott's contract.
He's not. He can't. He can't do it.
Hey, Dallas didn't do any of the moves that San Francisco is doing to extend Dak. San Francisco has gotten rid of some of their key players, and all so that they can give Brock Purdy a contract. That man's led him to, 3 NFC Championship games, a Super Bowl. He's going to get paid. And his agent's going to make damn sure he does.
But his stats don't align with a top 10 guy, though. Yeah, everybody knows it's Christian McCaffrey's offense before it's Brock Purdy's offense.
Oh, you definitely saw a difference in that team when this past season, McCaffrey out.
Big difference. That's why. When you take him out of the lineup, it's a different game, and it puts way more pressure on Purdy, and Purdy isn't the same guy.
He's going to get paid.
All right, we're going to agree to disagree. I'm going to die on the hill that I still don't think he earned or deserves more than 50 a year. You are going to die on the hill that he's breaking Dak's deal, and I just think that that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to die on that hill, and if he doesn't break Dak's deal, he's gonna be maybe $1 million or $2 million behind it, and that's it. He's going to be right up there.
All right. Well, I think that's about going to wrap up our free agency news for now. So moving on, I do want to bring up one other thing real quick before we move on to basketball. I do want to bring up, I don't know if you've heard this story yet, but very disappointing news for me and my Yankee fans. I know Joey is somewhere mourning with me. But the Yankees have lost the number one pitcher, former Cy Young winner, Gerrit Cole, for the entire season. Tommy John surgery, something he probably should have had last year, but tried to pitch through it. And because of the year with Soto, everybody was all in last year. And instead, it kicked this can down the road to this year. And now he's having Tommy John surgery, and we will see him in the future. We hope it goes well. He came out in a statement saying he's going to attack rehab. He's going to give it all he's got to get back on the field. He's got a passion, and he can't wait to get back out there. But at the same time, this team now doesn't have Soto, loses Cole for the year, probably losing Stanton for the year as well if he hasn't been ruled out for the year already. Missing a lot of the big pieces from last year. I don't know how we recover. I know you don't have probably a ton to talk about on this, but as a Yankee fan, this is one, and even if you're not a Yankee fan, this is still one of the best pitchers in baseball. And for him to now be out for the entire year, you can't tell me that this doesn't hurt the Yankees. The Yankees are also, for the next 3 months, without the Rookie of the Year, Luis Gil, who has, I think, something going on with his shoulder. He's out for the next 3 months. So, at best, we may lose him for longer, too. We hope not. We hope he comes back better and stronger than ever. But at the same time, it's still a big blow to this team. Now, I know they signed Max Fried. I know they've done some things. They still have Marcus Stroman, who's going to step back in to the lineup as well as a starter. But it is a devastating blow to the Yankees. And for a season now that you were already a little bit iffy on after we lost the Soto sweepstakes, and you're like, all right, what's this team going to do? And they did sign Fried, and they got Bellinger, and they did a couple things to try and quell the fan base, to try and quiet everybody down. But I don't know if it's enough, and I think the AL East is up for grabs this year. It's really going to be big on if Judge can stay healthy, and if this team can find the young guys to pick them up. Dominguez, I think he's got Rookie of the Year talent. I really hope they leave him up all year. I think they will. The kid Lombard has been playing crazy all spring training. I wouldn't mind seeing him if we had to do something rather than make a trade. And same with Spencer Jones. It's about time. Some of these kids are 22, 23 years old. Let's get them up. Let's get them in. Like, why sit on these guys till they're 25, 26, 27? It's one of my biggest complaints with the Yankees. I think they sit on their young talent too long. I think they leave them in the minors way too long. They try to team control them for way too long, because by leaving them in the minors and not bringing them up, it messes with their contract status, and they can have more team control for longer. I just need them to stop manipulating like that and realize that some of these young guys can help us win games. And I hope they give these young guys a chance this year. If they do, I'm hoping we have a year like we had in 2016 or 17 when we had the young guys back then, when it was Sanchez and Judge and some of the younger guys that came up then and sparked the team. Maybe that happens again, but right now I'm trying to grasp at any straw possible to stay positive, because this blow for the Yankees for Cole is a devastating one. So, Dave, I don't know if you got any thoughts, but those are my thoughts. had to get it out there quick before we move on to some bigger topics. But yeah, that is a devastating blow for Yankee fans.
I mean, look, I'll say, and I enough about baseball that anytime a pitcher's got to get Tommy John, so you hope he gets a full recovery, come back sooner than later. But overall, you hope it doesn't damper the length of his career. Now, I don't know enough about bringing players up, but like you got to find the next man up, right? You got to put guys in pressure situations and see how they perform. So to me, 22, 23, you're the same age as kids going to get a full-time job. Time to earn a full-time job. So
time to clock in.
I'm all for bringing up guys. Feel for anybody that has to get Tommy surgery, and consider, I may be a quote-unquote Mets fan, but I don't hate the Yankees at all. So I'm not sitting here against them, and I hope that they can, still compete for the East and be able to, run a World Series.
Awesome. Well, again, you know me, it's same with the, Devils Rangers. Like, I don't hate either side. Like, I don't hate the Mets either. And even baseball-wise, like, I don't hate the Mets. Mets fans tend to hate the Yankees more than the Yankee fans tend to hate the Mets. We just look at the Mets like Derek Jeter once famously put, they're the Mets. They're like your younger brother. They're like, they're always going to be that mentality to me. But at no point do I actually hate them or root against them. And the same with the Jets, too, believe it or not. Like, I don't root against the local teams. I really don't. Like, I don't necessarily, I don't know. It's something about me. Like, I root against Boston teams. I root against Philly teams. I'll root against Dallas teams. I'll root against LA teams. But I don't know. I don't have that hatred for other New York teams. As somebody who's like a Dallas fan, I can understand your hatred for the Giants. As somebody who's a Bulls fan, I can understand your hatred for the Knicks. Like, I can understand certain teams. But again, I think that's something even Knick-wise. Like, that's more on the Knicks hating the Bulls than the Bulls hating the Knicks, I think. Because Bulls, most of the 90s, tended to beat the Knicks, unfortunately. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. No. I mean, the 90s were definitely the Bulls decade. Kind of playing the Knicks. The Knicks really the 70s. So, what goes, and right now, put side by side, the keep Chicago in a 7 games.
Well, speaking of NBA, I guess that's where we're going to go next. So we will go there next because, a couple things. So one, before we get to the juicy news, the real drama of the week, I got to touch on what Nikola Jokic's doing, because we sat here over the last few weeks and said that SGA is pretty much a lock for the MVP. But I got to tell you, what Jokic, can do is unbelievable. Like, honestly, it truly is unbelievable. He put up a stats the other night. He had a triple-double, but it was a 30-20-20 game. Like, think about that. 30-20-20. Like, that's a crazy game. And he's the first player in NBA history, or I think, I'd have to check to see if Wilt did it, but, like, he's one of the only players in history to have a stat line like that.
Yeah, I think Jokic is he set a new standard for how big play in this league. Especially when you think about how the game you play. We can play how I missed the inside out, outside in, and really hurt the big man and the big value in the NBA. Now, guys like him, Porzingis, Pascal Siakam out there now, where they're adapting to the game, and bringing value as a big man. So, I think I still go with SGA, and the main reason MVP 2 out of the last 3 years.
Yeah, I was leaning the same way with you, but what I will say is, I have the stats pretty much head to head with them here. First of all, Jokic, I didn't even realize was averaging a triple-double this year. 28, 12, and 10. And solidly with the 12.9 and 10.6. If you look at their stats heads up, SGA only has him really in points per game. He's averaging 32.8, which, don't get me wrong, is very impressive. Jokic's 28.9. That's really the next stat that they're both tied in steals at 1.8 steals per game. SGA is averaging a block a game, where Jokic's averaging 0.6, so almost half a block a game. Jokic has a better field goal percentage, better three-point percentage. SGA has a better free throw percentage, but then all the rest of the matrix all go to Jokic. So, I mean, if you think about it, out of, what was there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 categories. Jokic's got him in 7 out of 12.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 8 out of 12. 8 out of 12.
I think the NBA just tries to avoid doing back-to-back MVP. I really think that's what it boils down. And SGA is a guy that I believe only Jordan has done it, where he averaged over 30 points per game. I think it's 2 steals a game. I can't remember the specific stats, but he was pacing to match Michael Jordan as the players averaged 30.4 per game, plus a couple other statistics in a season. And whenever you can do something that only Michael Jordan has done, you're putting your name in that earns you a little favor with those. But if Jokic gets, there's no denying he earned it.
No, I agree with you there. Then he definitely earned it. Yeah, and I don't know. It's gonna be hard to turn him down if he averages another triple double, damn near 30 points a game. He averages almost twice as many, more than twice as many assists, or I'm sorry, rebounds, and almost twice as many assists a game as SGA. It's going to be hard to deny him, and I know that nobody wants to see the same guy keep winning, but when he keeps putting up stats like this, and again, he's not even the most, like, you look at him, he's not the most physically, like, dominating person out there. Like, he's not. But at the same time, like, he's just one of the greatest basketball players, like, just pure talent-wise. And, he, whatever athleticism people don't think he has, he makes up for it with that talent. And it's unbelievable. And what he's been able to do in Denver and for that city of Denver, listen, he's deserving. And if he does beat out SGA, I'm not going to sit here and say it's highway robbery.
No, I wouldn't either. I think what also helps SGA is that his team's 11 games better.
Yeah.
Even though the individual award, like, you're the most valuable player trying to help your team be the best team in the league. So I think that's another thing that comes a little bit of an edge.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of an edge, did you see the big news of the week? And it's been big because, again, it's just something you don't normally see. But the Will Smith, Chris Rock-esque confrontation between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith that was only missing the slap because he walked up to him and said, "Keep my son's name out your mouth." Like, in a cleaned up, nice way. Like, that's what LeBron came over and said. And I got to get your opinion on it. I want your opinion on it before I give mine. But, yeah, hit me with it. This is big news from the week. I mean, you have arguably one of the greatest basketball stars of all time and the game's biggest, draw going up against the game's biggest off-court personality, probably. So it's an interesting dynamic. And tell me, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen get attention. And I say that because, A, Stephen Smith's job is to talk about the NBA and players that are in the NBA, and B, LeBron you waited and stayed in the league so that you could play with your son. You had to know that people, analysts, were going to talk about your son.
And then the way he manipulated it to get his son drafted and onto the Lakers.
Yeah. Like, so, dude, like, I don't know. Like, I get you want to defend your son, but this is the life he stepped into. And part of the spotlight is because you're his father. So don't be mad at Stephen A. for doing his job. 3, LeBron confronts Stephen A. as a man, right? Doesn't go on social media, doesn't attack him in a news report, doesn't get quoted by a reporter in Los Angeles. Went up to Stephen A. at the game and talked to him like a man. And then lastly, Stephen A. comes on the air and says, why don't you come meet me face to face and talk like a man? That's exactly what LeBron did.
Well, no, because apparently what LeBron did, now I'm going to clear this up a little bit because I did listen to Stephen A. on this. I think he cleared it up pretty well. He wasn't there as a reporter. He wasn't there working that night. He was there as a guest of somebody else's, and he was sitting with Larry David and I forget the other guy, Rick Rubin maybe, somebody else. But he was there as a guest. He was just there observing, watching the game, not working, not doing anything. And LeBron didn't come up to him before the game, didn't come up to him after the game, waited until he knew the cameras were there, and confronted him in the middle of the game. Like, LeBron knew that he was going to get the cameras were there. LeBron knew what he was doing. He knew the optics of this, and he was trying to play a little bit of a tough guy. Now, get it. I get it. He's trying to protect his son, and I'm not going to sit here as a man and say that if I had a son, I wouldn't try to do the same. Or, with your daughter in the future, you wouldn't defend her to whether she's right, wrong, or indifferent. Doesn't matter. You're going to defend her till the end. So I understand a father's love and passion and wanting to protect his son. On the other hand, I 100% agree with you. You put your son in this position. He is now an NBA player. An NBA G League player, but still has the title NBA player there. He was drafted. He was all of that because of you and what you did and how you pushed the situation. Because honestly, your son wasn't even starting in college. Shouldn't even have been drafted. It is because of you that those things happened. And it is then, we criticize, myself included, everybody else out there, Bronny James sucks. He is not a good player. Not saying he can't be a good player 5 years from now or whatever and be a good, serviceable NBA player and on the road to greatness, but right now he is not that. And right now everybody can look and say this kid didn't deserve to be in the league. He should have still been in college growing his game. And LeBron as a player, I don't think he has a problem with it. LeBron as a father has a problem about people talking about his son, and I can understand that. But at the same time, LeBron, you have to have a little bit of introspective because you did this. You did this to yourself, and you did this to your son. This is you. You can blame everybody else. You can get mad at Stephen A. for talking about it. You can get mad at me for calling your son shit. But that's just the reality of what it is, and that's the reality that you put your son in. So I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. And
yeah, sorry.
Exactly. You deserve, unfortunately, the ridicule and everything that comes along with it. If he would have came in the league and you guys would be a tandem 1-2 team and he was balling out and, highlights everywhere and was a great player, nobody would be saying this. The narrative would be different. Stephen A. wouldn't be talking about it, about Bronny in a certain way. But you put him in the position to do that because you put him in the position to be judged in that way. Judged by fans, judged by critics. And I just think that the way he went about it, yes, it's a man-to-man thing. Yes, I like the fact that he went up and talked to him without doing it through anonymous sources or newspapers or everything else. I can agree with you. But the one thing I will disagree with is he knew what he was doing in the time that he was doing it. And he also didn't give Stephen A. a chance to respond either. He came up, said what he wanted to say, and then he walked away. And he knew the cameras caught it. He knew people caught it. And to me, on a day where Stephen A is not working, he actually just signed his new contract that day to keep him at ESPN and whatever else. I don't even know. He's making $1 bajillion, I'm sure. But, whatever it is, he wasn't there in a capacity to where, like, you could walk up to him as that reporter or as that pundit and say those things. Like, he's there just enjoying the game. He wasn't yelling at you from the sideline and bashing Bronny Jr. Like, to me, he could have handled it differently. He could have walked up to Stephen A after the game. He could have walked up to Stephen A before the game. There are millions of ways he probably could have got to Stephen A. They know all the same people. I'm sure they do. They could have got connected. If he wanted to have a face-to-face or a heart-to-heart with him and say what he wanted to say, he could have done it without the cameras there and without the showmanship. But that's what LeBron does, and that's why I always have a problem with LeBron. And that's why I question what he did there, because to me, even though it sounds like a sweet thing for a father to do for his son, at the same time, it was still motivated by making sure cameras were there and making sure that the right narrative got put out, because he wanted to make sure he came off as, the dad protecting his son. Well, good, but know that you put your son in that position.
What I find funny is our dad would look at and stop sucking. People won't talk about you.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been no mercy there. He would have been criticizing me just as even worse than Stephen A. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad would look at me and be like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm glad we're on the same page on this. But yeah, I was shocked by that because I was like, man, not shocked that it happened because, again, father protecting his son, I can understand that. But the manner and the game, because I think there was Lakers-Knicks too, so it was like a big game, big televised game. And to do that in the middle of the game, I don't know, to me was just a little bit staged and a little bit, to me, that's where it became a little bit cringe.
I think that's fair. I mean, like you said, though, right? It's kind of the LeBron playbook, right? I mean, he knows what he's doing when it comes down to handling media and all that. Got 22 years of experience with it now.
Yeah.
So he knows. That is for damn sure.
Damn sure. But, yeah, other than that, I don't know if you got anything else basketball-wise, but that's really all I had for you in the NBA. You just couldn't not talk that story. It was too big to not talk. But I don't know if you got anything else before we move on to our last topic.
I mean, I think the biggest thing with the NBA, the trend continues. The East is extremely top-heavy. The East is extremely top-heavy. The West is extremely deep. And they really got to figure out a better way to balance this league out. They just have to. And I really think, I've said it for years, I really think the best thing that they can do is go to an overall top 16 team tournament. Like, I just get rid of the fucking play tournament. Nobody likes it. Nobody cares about it.
Nobody.
So get rid of the playing tournament. Be done with that crap. And start having the 16 best teams go into a tournament to win the championship. It literally drives me nuts.
Would you just get rid of conferences then at that point altogether and just have one big league and top 16 make it? You could even do a top 16 and a bottom. Because you could do a top 16 and a bottom 14. Do almost two. Do a losers bracket tournament if you wanted at the same time you're doing the regular playoffs.
That's what I mean. Like that tournament could be for your draft order, right? Winner of like how we do our fantasy football league, right? Whoever wins that tournament gets the number one pick. This is where they have to play. They have to put the effort in. They can't just blow the games off.
No, I like that idea. I like it.
I think there's way more you can do with this league that would make this league way more entertaining for people and way more interesting for people to want to actually watch.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it in the East right now, from 7 down, they're all under 500. 31 and 34, 30 and 30, 30 and 36, 29, 35, 27, 38, 7 through 10, not even worth playing. Like, I'm sorry. Where you go to the West, yeah, all the way up till the 10th seed, the Dallas Mavericks are 33-33. They're at least they're at 500. So, I mean, if you looked at the top 16 teams, it would be the top 10 in the West and the top 6 in the East. Like you said, more top-heavy in the East, but the East is there. I'll say the one shocking thing to me this year is how good Detroit's become and the step forwards they've taken. They're 36-29, sitting at number 6 in the East, but solidly number 6 in the East. 7-3 in their last 10, but they're a surprising team. I did not see Detroit being this good this year. Well, I don't know. You got any thoughts on Detroit? Because I'm surprised to see them that high up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, but their young talent has come together and has played really, really well. They've drafted good pieces and put them together well, and I think you're just seeing that show itself. And, you know, I really am not a fan of Detroit and Indiana being playoff teams, while Chicago is just a joke, but it's what it is.
Chicago's in the 10 seed right now.
Yeah, and they'll get eliminated right away. I promise. I promise. They will get eliminated in the play-in tournament. They won't even make it to a 7-game series, and it'll be another wasted season.
Well, speaking of that, are they? I want to talk to you about two other teams, and talking about wasting seasons and wasting talent, because I think these two teams are wasting it way more than the Bulls are. What is going on with the Phoenix Suns? 30-35. KD's got to be getting traded, right? Like it's just not working there. Whatever they're doing. And the other team that surprised me, because they went out and made a trade a few weeks ago for somebody, and a lot of people thought it was going to be a big time move. When the Spurs traded for De'Aaron Fox, and to bring Fox in and pair him with Wemby, but they're still not a very good basketball team. And I believe they are 11 games under 500 and 6 games out of that last playoff spot with the Mavericks. So, I don't know. The Suns and the Spurs, to me, very disappointing. To me, more disappointing than your Chicago Bulls. But to me, or to you, are they the two most disappointing teams in the league? Outside of maybe
Spurs,
Philly?
Oh, the Spurs, the one thing you got to keep in mind with them, Wemby went down almost 2 full weeks ago. So Wemby hasn't played for the Spurs. Probably missed the last 10 games, which just
I don't know if he's missed 10, because they're not going to play 10 games in 2 weeks. So if he's been out for 2 weeks, he's probably missed 4 games.
He's definitely missed more than 4, but you're right. 10's definitely a little much. But I definitely think that hurts, right? I mean, he is your best player. But I also think it's one of the things that they just don't have a lot of depth. I mean, their starting point guard is Chris Paul. And no knock on Chris Paul, but he's not who he was, 10 years ago.
Well, that's for sure.
So when you have that as your situation, what else are you supposed to do? So I think that's one of the big things when you look at them is just kind of okay, well, we don't have a lot of talent. And then we lost our best player. So now we're kind of just stuck in randomness of not being good.
Yeah, but for all the hype around Wemby, for all the hype around the Spurs and everything else, and then even after that trade to be 11 games under 500, not even in the playoff race, and in the bottom few of the league, it's not what the Spurs envisioned when they traded for what they thought would be a generational talent in Wemby.
Oh, no question about it. But at the same time, I think Wemby, I think the belief was that he could have came back, but instead of rushing him back, they shut him down because they knew they were going for the year. So I think they more played it safe with him. You deal with a man that big, right? You got to be cautious of the decisions and moves that you make. Because if you get him wrong or he gets hurt seriously, you're just basically wasting a generational talent for nothing.
Yeah, you did.
I think it is a give and take with that decision. I don't think it's something that he wanted to do. I they just agreed to run. It was probably the right move.
All right. Well, that's all I have for you basketball wise, just to wrap up and get us moving on to our last topic here. A bit of surprising news because, and I'm going to call it our knuckleheaded news of the week. What the hell happened to Tiger Woods? Reading today, he ruptured his Achilles tendon and he's having surgery. Going to be out for a while. He was, I guess, he ruptured his Achilles tendon while ramping up training and practice at home. He's 49. Between the back issues, the leg issues, now this Achilles issue. I mean, I love seeing Tiger golf. I love to see him out on the course. I love to see him on Sundays in that red. But I got to be honest, I enjoy just watching him swinging a club too. And when I see those things that are on ESPN sometimes at night, where they have that virtual league, I guess, that they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I enjoy just watching that. It's good, competition. And you know what? Sometimes it takes less time to play that game than it does to watch them walk around the entire course. So I'm happy even if I don't see him play another PGA event, if I could still watch him and things like that. But this is another blow to golf. I mean, golf, we all know, is just different when Tiger Woods is involved. And to have him with another setback, now we're not talking majors or anything else, but at the same time, it's still a blow to golf. I don't know, you got any thoughts on Tiger and his blown Achilles?
It sucks. I really, when I first heard that news, I'm like, that sucks. Like, I think Tiger, it may be the fact that you just got to pack it up, or it's time to move to the senior tour or whatever. But I think his days playing for the PGA Tour level are over with. I hate to say it, but that's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's just it's disappointing to think about. I mean, I don't know. Golf just isn't going to be the same. Golf isn't going to be the same once Tiger's officially gone out of it. It's just not going to be the same. So I just hope in some way, shape, or form, some capacity, he's able to stay around the game, because I just think he helps make the game better.
I think he'll definitely stay around the game. I just think he's
lost you there.
I said I think he stays. I just think his days of playing in the regular PGA Tour, I think they're over.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I got to agree, unless he just gears up and wants to play the Masters and, or a course or two here or there that are home courses for him. I mean, I think that's about it. That's what you're looking forward to. As far as a full tour schedule or a lot of events, you're never going to see that again. But that's okay. But just stay around the game. Just we hope he gets better. Because you can see he still loves playing. He still loves competing. I thought it was pretty funny. One of the highlights from that virtual golf that he was doing, it was one where he got up to hit a shot and he thought his teammate said 99 and it was really 199, and he hit a shot and it didn't even come close to the green, and he turned around like, what the hell, and everybody was laughing at him because he used the wrong club. Things like that. He can still have fun with the game, and I just hope that he continues to do things like that, because again, not having to walk the course, not having to do certain things, I think, take some of the pressure off his body, and hopefully he could do more events like that then, and hopefully he could do more things just to stay relevant and keep him around the game. He's always going to be probably the PGA Tour's biggest ambassador, but yeah, as far as his days in that Sunday red, unfortunately, I think we may have seen the last of those, and I hate to say that because he's only 49, and
yeah, I think
I'd love to see him have a resurgence on the senior tour.
Yeah, I think he's going to be like Palmer and Nicholson and all these older heads that they do the tee shot before the do the par three green and things like that. I think his days of actually competing in the PGA are probably over.
Yeah, I agree. And know what else
It
is
sucks.
over?
But
This show. I think with that, that's our last story anyway. So if you've rocked with us this long, like, subscribe, follow, share. Please do all those free fun things for us. Really helps us grow, and that's what we're trying to do. So please hit that like button, subscribe, share, follow. We greatly appreciate it. And Dave, I greatly appreciate you, my friend. This is the last time I'm going to be in this New Jersey studio here. So the next time you see me, I'll have palm trees in the background. So just prepare yourself mentally for that, Dave, because I'm gonna put that up just for you.
I hated you last year for it. I'm gonna hate you again this year for it.
And I believe I'm gonna be doing 4 shows from down there. So it'll be four Tuesdays. The next 4 Tuesdays we'll be rocking from Florida.
Oh, right now they're calling for free weather next week. So I mean, what bothered me the most is last year down there by a pool, and I was in a freezing my ass off. So hopefully that's not the case.
Hopefully not, but it's definitely not going to be as tropical as my environment. That's for sure. I hope you get weather like we've been getting the last couple of days. It's been beautiful around here yesterday and today.
Yes, it has. But I do appreciate you reinforcing the fact that it won't be as nice there as it, or as nice up here as it is down there. So appreciate that reminder.
I got to rub it in a little when I can,
Hey, you got to take the time when you get a chance to shoot, right?
I'll think about you while I'm out on the links.
And I'll be cursing you while I'm sitting in the office.
When I get back, though, we got to plan a day, maybe a Saturday or something, or maybe just one afternoon after work or something where we could get out a little early and go play around, go play over at the Knoll or go play somewhere, and just get out and have some fun.
I would love that, my friend. We can laugh at each other and then talk about how much we suck while we're on the show.
Exactly. It's twofold. But until next week, though, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
D Hastings 23 on Instagram, David Hastings 23 on Twitter, now currently known as X. And like I always say, it's pretty damn boring, so don't waste your time.
All right. So you can find me at The Living Legend on X. You can find our unofficial fourth co-host Louie at Louie Aussie Dude on Instagram, or you can follow us at Die on This Hill on YouTube and Die on This Hill on Facebook. And until next week, as we always say, don't be afraid to have an opinion. And die on this hill with us.
Die on this hill. Let's go.
Boom.
Oh.